Well, hello, and welcome to the 2023 Michigan Professional State Championships and the Crew 42 YouTube page. Remember to subscribe. We're here live in Byron Center, Michigan, and by live, I mean recording it post-production. I'm Brian Papa Wolf Frawley, and with me is...
Phill Dilone, and we are excited to give you round two commentary of the Pro State Championships.
Thanks to our friends at Discraft for helping us out, our friends at Great Lakes Disc for reserving the park, and we're ready to rock and roll. This is course hole 15, but this is tournament hole 1. It is a uphill par 3, 325, with a really late break into a guarded green. You'll see most people try to throw a forehand. Some people throw a turnover if they're right-handed, but you don't want to come up short because you will land in the thick of it. Up first on the card, we have the wonderful Luke Taylor, who shot a great opening round. Shout out to Richard Engelman, aka Dick Engelman, being a volunteer and our starter all weekend.
In first place at -13 after one day, we have Luke Taylor.
Luke's coming in still in high school and getting to play a handful of Pro Tour events. He's an exciting young player to watch. He's going to throw the forehand. And he lands perfectly inside circle 1.
Second on the pad.
Who's next, Phill?
12 under. Nick Gill.
Yeah, we got Nick Gill coming up doing jumping jacks, looking to get it just as close as he did round 1. Great showing from Luke, looking at 2 consecutive birdies on hole 1 to start. Let's see. Nick going with an orange. This might be a Raptor, maybe a Nuke. Looking at it, just outside circle. Maybe just circle edge, putt, pin high. Great shot.
Yeah, I believe that's his Big Z Raptor. Up next, we have the reigning United States Disc Golf Champion, Kyle Klein, local boy turned legend already at the young age. He's going to throw the forehand as well. Got a lot of air under it. It's going to come in and settle perfectly. He's a couple swings off.
Doesn't get much smoother than that. Super smooth. Austin Bates, super excited about to watch this guy play. Up and comer from Michigan, 30 years old, dropping dimes on the course. Good forehand out the gut. Let's see where it lands. Right there.
He's showing no nerves about being on coverage. Rare to see, but Luke is the farthest one away, trying to get that first green square on our coverage. And he lets us do that, so he starts with a birdie. That's great to see. Local boy Nick Gill gets himself a birdie as well. Probably Nick's most played course outside of another one. Kyle with the tap in, and Austin with an even closer drop in. That's a great way to start and a great way to appear on coverage today. And we got our first star birdie.
Yeah, great hole to just be able to tap it in, being on coverage, playing with some big guns. But he had hole 2 coming at us at 356. Just going to want to throw a hard mid, lightly toned back fairway, just flips up a little bit, lands you right there. So just get out the gap, and you should have a good putt.
So we're going to have the same order as our starting hole, which means Luke's going to lead us off. He's going with a backhand. You can't go forehand. I think it's a little bit more risky. I think we'll see all of our players throw backhand off the tee here. Luke hangs it out wide, hoping to swoop back. Doesn't quite swoop back all the way. He's going to have a pin high putt. With a solid backhand rip. He's going to get right inside of circle 1. Hopefully that's an easy knockdown for him. Kyle with his patented form. He's wanting to start off hot. He's like, what 2-stroke lead? I'm going to be right there.
Brian, Doesn't get much easier than that. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully he just taps it in. Super easy putt for him.
So I think we need to be honest with the group and tell them that you're enjoying delicious pretzels. That's why you're just popping in and out. Be honest.
I have just finished my delicious Costco Girl Scout cookies, Thin Mint pretzels, minis. Get them while they're hot. I don't believe they're in stores anymore. So sorry that this has come so late out of season. I do have 30 boxes of Thin Mint cookies, though, in my fridge. I'm not kidding. If you would like to test me on that, I would love to send you a box if you'd like to pay for shipping.
We're gonna not sell Girl Scout cookies, but we are gonna see Austin go 2 for 2 to start, and we think Nick's gonna do the same. Bam. Love to see it.
Great call. Dead center chains. Good start for all these guys.
Kyle gets himself 2 birdies to start as well. And Luke gets himself a par, which means we have our first tie at the top since way back in the front 9 of round 1, which leads us to hole 3 of the tournament. This is a par 4, 605 feet. A lot of players are going to go forehand over the road into a landing zone and then maybe even another forehand as they approach. If your forehand does bail out to the right of this tree that you're looking at, you can have a backhand approach as well. Distance is key off the tee, keeping it an easy approach for that relatively easy birdie. This hole on the course played almost a full stroke under par, so let's see if we can get some birdies on this card. It going over the road as well, nice and high, coming into a landing zone. Avoids being pinched on the tree as well. He's going to like where he is. Kyle going much lower than Nick, going over the road as well. Flaring a little bit, but he'll have a choice on whether he wants to go backhand or forehand for where he is. Austin got a little bit more air under this.
Pretty routine here. All the players just sending the forehands. It seems like that's the play. You miss, you throw a backhand. You don't miss over the road, you throw another forehand. So pretty routine for hole 3.
The road does play out of bounds. I don't know if we said that, but most people would assume that, we hope. Luke lands in the nice open approach area, so we think we're going to see Kyle first here. Looks like Kyle's going up high over the road, landing short circle 1 and rolling up perfectly. He's feeling it. That's a great start for him. Luke on the forehand approach as well. Looks like he turns that one over a bit, stays away from out of bounds, but lands well outside of circle 2, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely not a characteristic of Luke. Seems like he just chopped that forehand off into the ground, as you said. Not good. Austin with a great shot. Puts him right in the bullseye. Here we go. Nick for a great approach. Let's see what it pans out at.
Yeah,
that'll do as well.
Speed control. Great speed control coming into that green. We're going to leave Luke outside of circle 2 for the birdie. Can't run it too long. He does have to worry about that road OB deep. Looks like he's going to settle short of the basket for the easy tap and par.
Yeah, and this is a relatively easy par 4. So Luke is probably comfortable still, as he just shredded a 13 down round 1. So to give one is okay. He probably knows he could birdie every hole on this course. So we'll see him be relaxed, be poised, and see what he can do for the rest of the round.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in panic mode at this time, but we do need to make notice that all 3 of his competitors on this card has started with 3 birdies, or a turkey if you call it that.
So we have hole 4 again, 786. If you can do the math, you really just need to throw two good 350 to 375 foot shots. You want to hyzer out in front of that last group of trees. That is OB. And then you want to make a really good approach shot coming into this narrow green, just around this hyzer orange tree. And sitting in. Let's see what they do. We got Nick Gill up first.
Yeah, one of the things you want to take note is you want to avoid those two bushy clumps that you see. Those are kind of island OB. Nick's guy's right over one and leaves himself right in the area for a challenging over out of bounds forehand approach, but relatively high reward.
Yeah, as you said, forehand over, out of bounds. If you get a little too close left, you're kind of forced with the over, out of bounds. But if you kind of keep it just in the middle, you have the ability to do a hyzer into the green. So that's most likely the ideal play.
Kyle's going to be in great position where he lands. Austin, a really good control thrower. He's pushing a little bit of distance. He's going to go by the first big bush, and he's going to be right in the middle, kind of a backhand, forehand optional area. I would assume he's going to go backhand, but we'll see what the coverage says. Luke throws a standard hyzer as well, trying to land in that same area Nick did. Pushes a little bit past that spot as well. And he's going to have a pretty easy approach for his caliber player. Kyle's lining up the backhand here.
Yeah, let's see what that good. All he needs to do is get over this hyzer around this tree, and he should be right there tucked around the circle. Just circle edge, he should be pretty fine for hopefully a birdie.
Yeah, it looks like Austin's going to line up that backhand. Putting a lot of hyzer on it.
Austin had the unfortunate miss of the landing. Is he really wants to be about 20 feet left of where he was, or about 20 feet right to have a better in. So he was in a weird position. He should only have a kind of a chip up at the green for par. Nick with a good shot over the road, hitting down. Great shot.
Yeah, now we look at Luke's approach here. He's a little bit ahead of where Nick was. He's got a couple options, forehand or backhand. Gonna go with a backhand, hyzering around the orange tree as you referred it to. Actually, he's gonna try to hyzer through it and lands inside circle one.
Yeah, I'm confident with his ability to putt that he should have a chance at bird. Austin got a little more favorable than I thought. Nice step putt. So just outside circle one. Walks it in for the birdie. Great save.
Inside of circle one, we have Kyle trying to keep the streak going. Oh, and it's unfortunate. It just doesn't quite stay.
Yeah, he's probably a little upset with that, but not too mad because he knows he missed a little lazy left and low. So I'll probably look to correct that on the next shot, making sure his putt is definitely straight through the basket on the center.
And Nick with the closest approach gives himself a birdie. So Nick and Austin are 4 through 4, bringing us to hole 5. Hole 5 is course hole 1. And this is one of those holes that play almost a full half stroke under par. Most players are going to right-hand forehand go up and over these bushes / mini trees, if you will. That walking path and beyond is OB, and it does come into play in circle one, but I still think there's a generous landing zone for the forehand approach. There is a backhand line, but for me personally, the backhand line usually ends up too straight and pushing too deep. So we'll see how these players attack. Nick going real wide off the tee. Hopefully it's pushing back. It does, but that distance did make him a little bit shorter.
Yeah, he's probably just outside circle one, Brian, looking at a tester putt for a birdie.
On day 2, how was the wind out there, Phil?
Oh, it was a little breezy. Definitely still coming at you. This little pocket of the course actually swirls a little bit, so it's an interesting spot. It's very hard to play the wind on this hole. You got 2 canopies of trees on each side, and it kind of you just have to really trust your forehand, like you said, over that canopy initially, with a nice overstable disc. Hopefully lands relatively close to the basket for an easy birdie.
As we see Kyle throwing the forehand as well, looks like that's the general consensus on the safe shot. And he puts a little R2 backspin and stays right at that bullseye's edge. So that was a great shot by him. Nick's going to be outside of circle 1. He's got no obstacles in his way. Just leaves it a bit short.
Yeah, a little wobbly putt. Might have sunk down. Could be looking at a tailwind. Did not give it a chance.
Austin crashed into the canopy and then ended up landing in circle 1 and gets himself his 5th birdie in a row to start.
You know, I say that's very impressive. 5 birdies in a row, birdie buddies in a row. But this course, like we have said, every hole is birdieable. But to go 5 birdies in a row really it's starting to put some pressure on some of these guys, and that's a miraculous start. Great shot by Austin.
Since 2015, Great Lakes Disc has been supporting players at all levels, from local leagues and events to professional disc golfers on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Visit GreatLakesDisc.com to learn more.
All right, hole 6, looking at a dead straight shot, 312. You're going to throw dead straight up the gut, or you're going to flex a little anhyzer with a hyzer out. Or some folks might play a little left and choose for it to just be a super slow anhyzer into the green. Should be looking at a birdie for all of these guys. Let's see what Austin does as he lines up a forehand.
Yeah, I think you tried that anti-flex like you talked about and maybe pushed it a little bit too wide. He's going to skip to be about pinned high, but he's going to have to dangle his putt through those trees is what I was trying to say. That doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean, guys.
Yeah, another forehand by Luke, which is, I can't say anything now considering how great of a shot that was. But I just think that this shot plays is a little bit easier for the backhand approach. So I would expect Luke to throw something generally like Kyle's throwing right here, but you can't go wrong. This is no wrong way to eat a Reese's on hole 6.
That sounds delicious, and the fact that they're both within 18, they know what they're doing. Here comes Nick flexing that zone out. He did a great job in round 1. He's going to come inside of the tiny trees, be about circle's edge range. So we're going to see Austin come at it first, Phil.
Yeah, not as much left to right went off the parking lot, but he should be good for par. Or birdie. Let's see what Nick does walking up to this putt.
Taking his time, making that putt. Oh my goodness.
What did we just see there? What did we just see there?
I just said making the putt because I thought it was done.
Wow. And so dead center putt. Nick's going to probably be startled at that for another hole or so, but you know, you can't give anything bad to him. He really did put the pizza in the oven, and he sent it to the center of the cage. Every once in a while, you will get a bad spit out from any basket in disc golf, but hopefully he carries on and carries himself pretty well going through the next couple.
So we're a third of the way through round 2. We've got a close match. We're on to hole 7. R3, 382. I think most right-handed players are going to try a forehand approach into the screen. Coming up short is where you're worried, but missing long gives you a few options to at least get a putt out there. The turnover shot is much harder in my super amateur opinion, but let's see if these guys back up my opinion.
Yeah, Luke again with the ESP Captain Raptor of this year. Looks like he gets hung up top a little bit. He's going to just have a chip in putt for probably a par at best. Kyle switching it up from hole one or from round one.
Yeah, Kyle went backhand. He's going to a forehand this time. Looks like it's swooping down nicely. Gets a little bit of bad ground play, but he's going to be right there for a shot at the putt at least. Austin going with the forehand route again. That's 3 in a row with the forehand. He's a Prodigy sponsored player, so he's going to be on something overstable from their lineup. And unfortunately, that one goes a little too straight.
Yeah, that is the bad miss on this hole, but it's kind of cool. It's a relatively close hole, straight and level for the most part, but then it drops in elevation. So if you have too much speed off the tee, it actually is bad and pushes forward. You almost want it to just kind of fade and drop in elevation about 5 to 10 feet to get you close to the basket.
Nick with a turnover. Look at that guy. That's got to feel great. You know, we just talked about the splash out. Oh, my goodness. He went from splash out to like circle to turnover through the jungle. He's running around. We got a replay. Wow.
Yeah, that was insane, Brian. Sorry for talking over you on that one, but where did that come from? Absolutely insane. Look at that.
Oh, my gosh. That's got to feel so good. Look at the excitement. Look at the smile on the boy's face. Love to see it.
He was surprised. He was happy. He was like, I'm engaged. I feel amazing.
Yeah, Austin just trying to find any lane to get down there.
I think it's safe to say I hope that Nick just big putt at the field and everyone else just chains out. Let's see what Luke has.
Well, you got 2 out of 3 so far.
Pretty close shot. We'll see what Kyle has to drop it in for the birdie. They're probably still all in. They're all amazed, just like Brian and I were. That was pretty incredible.
That's got to feel so good for Nick.
Yeah, a couple tap-ins, hopefully, for par, and then we can move on.
What a battle we've got going on. So now we've got Luke at -17, Nick at -17, Kyle at -15, and Austin at -14. I mean, these guys need to score, and they're doing it.
Yeah, here we go on hole 8 once again. Par 5, very hard par 5, tricky. Allows you for an error, 795. Mando on the left coming up. You really want to just push your disc with a fairway driver about 375, 400, just past this yellow sign on the left, which is the Mando. You want to end up right here. If you can end up in that back spot, you really have a good shot with a backhand flip up, hyzer flip, super understable up forward, or a really chopping knife-handed forehand all the way, carrying all the way down the fairway to the tee. We do have a shot at eagle here if the players can land themselves in a good position. Other than that, we're excited to see what happens. Let's see what Nick does coming at you.
Yeah, Phil mentioned we did have one eagle in round 1. That was Kyle Klein. We caught that on coverage. Hopefully you saw it. We got Nick pushing deep right now. Gets a little assistance and stop. He's a little bit off of to the right of where he was last time, and he did end up with a birdie still.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Brian. That's a tough challenge where Nick put himself, but he has a relatively good spot to at least give him a chance at par. Luke skipping past where he did last round, and he's in a good spot. He has 2 potential fairways to look down towards.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see his footing on the side of that hill as well. Here comes Kyle. He's looks like it flips out of his hand originally. Yep, gets hung up by some goodies. Now he doesn't miss the Mando, so he still has to play around it.
Wow, that's not a good spot to be in so far back. I would be very surprised to see Kyle get a birdie on this. This is actually a really challenging birdie being so far back. I believe
Okay.
Austin hit the Mando. Good play, but he's just about even 10 feet on this corner is relatively very hard. We'll see what Kyle does. Kyle's probably going to go with a very slow speed. Yep. Nice little chip up. Try to get
With
to
some
the top of
placement
the hill.
shop
Yep.
onto the plateau. Nick is having an awkward stance to say the least. Looks like he pushes
Yeah.
up through the gap. He covers a lot of ground at least from that awkward stance.
I think Austin has one of the best shots outside of Luke. See, he knifes the forehand with an overstable disc. And you can only hope where exactly this lands. So we'll see where he lands. Luke is up there. Got to do the same thing, kind of with a little knife Anheuser forehand. And you can only hope that it lands you well enough to, chip up for your birdie.
So we got Kyle shooting his third shot from here. A little bit off, but he's got to dodge some trees. Does have a great finishing area for him to land on. And just puts himself outside of circle one, however.
Yeah, he's got a shot. That's coming at you with the number 6 player in the world. Definitely very helpful to get up there.
Looks like Nick's turning something stable over. He's going to be right at the edge of about circle one as well. So Luke came up short of Austin. He's throwing a putter towards it.
One thing that I did learn about Luke's game this weekend, and he really has a good rusty putter lineup in his bag right now with the Discraft lineup. He's such a young kid with so much control, but he's choosing not to throw high speed disc, and he's choosing to downplay the momentum and throw really controllable putter shots, which is what you see in a good 10, 20 to 30 rated player, and that is truly what Luke is these days.
And Kyle comes up just a bit short on his bid. Here we go with Nick's bid for birdie. And bam, nice shot. Love to see it. He's keeping the birdies going. It's got to feel good. 2 in a row now. Luke trying to get back on the birdie train. He does so. Austin is going to have the best option to get on the birdie train. There we go. Shout out to Austin's caddy, Chris. Great guy. One of the nicest guys in disc golf. And
yeah, you said it, Brian. That guy, he is truly with Austin in and out. He sets up a basket at 9 a.m. He will put the basket away. He will caddy all around, and he will be there for emotional, physical, any support that Austin needs. He's a great guy to have in his corner.
And this is one of my favorite holes. This is tournament hole 9, course hole 5. And you've got an interesting green. I'm going to say that because I think the player needs to be aware of the slope of the green as we approach. It doesn't look as drastic on camera. It is a pretty big sloping left, and you are sneakily uphill from about 2/3 of the way through this hole. So your goal is to miss 2 kind of open gaps, about the 400 range, and then hyzer through. And look, thanks, Nick. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be tough footing. Luke throwing a little bit lower, maybe playing for a skip shot. Shout out to all the spotters and volunteers we had out there. That's sometimes a little hard to find the frisbees underneath the leaves, but we had some great people helping out on hole 4 and 5. Austin going with a backhand as well. Looks like he came out a little bit earlier. He does get clipped up by a tree, but he does land in the open still, which is pretty big. Kyle rounding off the card. He looks disappointed right away, calling for it to get up higher. Clips a tree, lands in the fairway.
Yeah, you really just wanted to get down, right? You just wanted to get about 400 feet down, and you can you could really make birdie from. It's a pretty generous hole, but you need it to get down there. If you clip anything early on, you're fighting for your par. That is not a good shot. You're going to be very happy to take your par. He probably has a good chip shot up for par.
Going with a forehand approach, hoping to match the slope of the green, but unfortunately gets the cross beam at field goal post, if you will. You see Luke going with that same forehand approach, trying to crash into that hill. Oh, and he does. He lands inside the bullseye. That's wonderful. Awkward footing for Nick. Coming in, leaving himself a little bit of a tester. Just inside circle one, he should be all right. Kyle going with the backhand floater putting approach. That's going to settle down nicely. Guarantee his par to close out the front nine. Austin's well outside of circle two here. He's going to be able to get that next one in, though.
Yeah, Brian, you said it. Awkward footing. You're looking at all these guys in the car are 1,000 rated. So awkward footing is something that they need. We saw something else again. That is a very rare thing to see from these discraft baskets.
What just happened? Did that bounce off the rim? I didn't quite catch that all the way, but that was unfortunate for Nick.
And was that his second one of the round? Man, this guy's got to be feeling nervous after this.
Yeah, that was the second one of the round that didn't quite stay all the way in. We got some cleanups to do. But that's an interesting front nine. We've had some movement. We've had some scoring. But as we started the day, Luke Taller's in first place. Shout out Richard Engelman right there walking through. We still got Luke in first. We got Nick in second, Kyle in third, and Austin in fourth. It's just like we started 9 holes ago. We've got a back 9. Remember to like and subscribe. Maybe even give ourselves a share. Thanks, Phil, for being here today. Thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters. It's a great way to keep local coverage going. Maybe consider joining and supporting. Thank you again, and tune in for round 2.